What's going on? Come on, Ref fans. Today I'm your host. Usually it's Chad, but unfortunately he's got some family issues going on. But I'll be your host today, Ben. I'm here with my guys Jamo and Jackson. Say what's up, guys.
So
Hey, how you doing?
So today, first let's talk about, Jackson, you mentioned it, off show, NFL running backs and their pay. Why don't you get us started? What do you want to talk about?
Well, it appears to me that the NFL has an issue with the running back position in particular. And during this offseason, it showed us with the free agencies, or I should say with the franchise tagging of Saquon Barkley. Now, he was on a Zoom call with other running backs that they were supposed to be talking about ways to get more money. No sooner than the phone dial hit tone, this guy is accepting $11 million from the Giants. Now, on one hand, zero, 11 million is always better than zero, correct? We can agree on that, right? But
Yeah.
for 1 year, what does this do for the future of running backs? I say that because now the 1 year is going to be done. He'll be back in the same exact position next offseason as he is this offseason. The only difference is he's going to have more mileage, more bang. They're going to use all that against him. So it almost behooves him to have a breakout dynamic season because the more touches he gets, the more productive he is. He's thinking in his head, financially, fiscally, I should be on the incline. They're thinking, the Giants that is, nah, man, you're damaged goods. Every time it's like a sports car right off the lot. As soon as it hits the lot, it starts devaluating, it depreciates. So my theory is, I've said this before and I'll say it again, we got to find ways to pay these guys up front, find ways to get them more secured money early, either that or simply let them get to free agency sooner. There's no reason to hold a guy hostage for 5 years if you're going to hold all that he's done for your team against him. What do you think?
Jamo, why don't you give your opinions before I give mine? What do you think?
I mean, I think we do have to figure out a way to pay the running backs a bit better, and I do also think that paying them on more. Maybe this could be the new thing for running backs, just a year-to-year basis, which could also get a little you can get a little tricky because
Yeah,
even the healthiest of running backs will have a year where they only play like 8, 10 games, right? And then
yeah,
let's say their year's up, and then they use that as an excuse, like, well, you played all 17 games these 3 years, but in this fourth year, you only played 12 games for us, and I don't know if we can bring you back. So I don't know. It's touchy. I mean, I think we should just front load the contracts, if you ask me. So pay them backwards. So where instead their contract goes on an incline, the base salary goes on a decline, but the incentives get higher, maybe. I'm not sure. Because this year, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bijan Robinson, who is a rookie, is the highest paid running back this year. I think he's going to get 13.8 million this year. I'm not quite
Right.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. That's my opinion on that.
I mean, you know, touching on what you were talking about, JMO, like you said, like either front loading the contracts or, I mean, I think, I think that'd be good because if you give all these players guaranteed money, if they get hurt, you still got to pay them, and teams don't want to do that. So you can't just go out there and hand them guaranteed money.
Right.
So I think like you said, pay the contract in reverse, pay most of it up front, and then after that, like it can just be like incentive based pretty much. And that's a way to get these guys paid quicker. I don't think. The only. I just think that the running back position is so replaceable that teams don't want to pay running backs because they can just go out and find a new one in the draft the next year. So it's not like it's a staple position like the quarterback position where like you need a decent quarterback to win football games. Like
Right.
with the running back you can mix and match and you can still win football games. Like look at the Eagles last year. They didn't have a solidified number one running back and they made it to the Super Bowl. Like the Chiefs haven't had a good running. The year the 49ers made it, they had like three guys that had over 100 carries.
Right.
Like you can just find running backs wherever, and Like, you don't need to pay running backs. Okay, I think teams don't want to pay running backs as big money because they can just replace a running back whenever they want to. But I agree, running backs should get paid more for what they go through, what their body goes through. You know, like some running backs are the heart and soul of a team, like Derrick Henry for the Titans.
Nick
He's
Chubb.
their heart, and Nick Chubb, yeah, he's that's their heart and soul. And you know, like these guys take a beating, and an example of that is Jerome Bettis. The dude, it takes a dude an hour just to get out of bed, and it takes him another hour and a half just to walk down the stairs. Like, if all these running backs are going to turn into that when their career is over, like, you got to give them some financial stability. Like, so, I mean, so like you said, Jim, I think the best way to do it is front load the contracts, and then after that, make it incentive based, because then the players are still going to want to try. Because, like, you know,
Right.
say like, you know, hey, an extra $2 million, you know, you rush for 1,000 yards. I mean,
Right.
they're going to want to try. They're going to want to play.
Did
So,
you
I mean,
see what his incentives were?
I did not know.
They basically were saying he has to get like 1,350 yards. He has to make the playoffs, and he has to get X amount of touchdowns. And basically, he kind of has to duplicate what he did last year.
That's funny. He has to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
The playoff.
The Giants don't. He does.
Right. Like,
the
what?
playoff. The playoff one is like that one's I think a little like cheap shot, because I mean, like, it's not up to him. Like, he could rush for 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns, and they could not make the playoffs.
Yeah, literally, that could happen.
Like,
we're talking about $900,000. This incentive isn't even $1 million. He basically, I mean, the franchise tag was $10 million,
and they offered him 14.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's worth 15. That's the problem.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this, you know, before we move topics. I just want to say, you know, we all saw the contract, you know, Ezekiel Elliott signed in Dallas, and every year after he signed that contract, he just kept going downhill. So I think a lot of teams saw that contract and they're like, heck, like, we don't want to pay these guys all that money. Like,
true.
I mean, we got Chad, you know. Chad says pay the long snappers. I agree, Chad. But no, I think running backs. I think running backs are, like, I mean, like I said, you know, they're easily replaceable. Like, you can draft a running back to replace your starting running back the next year. So I think it all just depends on how you view it, and how you want to pay them. But I think for now, I think we should move on to you know, some baseball. I just first, you know, want to touch on the hometown Guardians. You know, they're struggling right now. Not really hitting well. I mean, they've won 3 series in a row, but I mean, we got to start sweeping some series here to make up some ground on the Twins. You know, because they're, you know, their Twins are on a run right now, but. I mean, we're still only 2 games back. I mean, so we're still in striking distance, but I mean, we have to make up ground somehow, and we can't just keep, you know, winning 2 games and losing 1, and winning 2 and losing 1, because, like, I mean, you're never going to make up ground if the Twins keep winning.
Yeah,
they haven't swept 1 series yet.
Nope.
Only the Athletics, just once.
Yep.
They swept
at home
in Oakland. Yeah, at home. Yeah, that's the only sweep they've had. That's the only sweep they have all year.
We had like 2 walk-offs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm not giving up on the Guardians yet, but no. I just hope I hope we make some more moves at the deadline, because you can't. There's no way there's no way you can be content with this team thinking this team's going to win us a World Series. Because I'm sorry, but it's not.
Oh, no.
It's not good enough.
That's my question to you, Ben. Has the Guardians met the ceiling? Have they met the ceiling with Tito?
No, because we saw what Tito did last year. He called up 16 different guys and we won 92 games. It's not Tito's problem; it's the players' problems. They're not playing up to standard, and you can't blame that on the manager, because he doesn't go out there and play for them. I think Tito's still the guy to lead us to a World Series. We just don't have the right pieces.
That's fair.
I mean, we have arguably one of the best third basemen in baseball in Jose Ramirez, right?
Yep.
We have a good young catcher in Bo Naylor.
Solidified first baseman.
Yeah, and Josh Naylor, who's also right now one of the hottest hitters in baseball. So I mean, we have a core group of guys. You got Stephen Kwan on left. I mean, yeah, Miles Straw lacks in center, but
he's a Gold Glove.
He's a Gold Glove defender, and you can't win. You can't win the MLB without having elite defender without having good defense. And for so long, the Guardians have valued good defense, and now I think they're starting to realize that, hey, we need to hit the ball to win games. So, I mean, eventually, I don't know if you guys saw, but we just promoted Oscar Gonzalez back to the 40-man roster.
I did not see that.
Which means he'll probably be called up here in the next week and a half.
Let's hope so.
SpongeBob is back.
And you got Will Brennan, to hit against the righties. And we've teams are throwing a bunch of lefties against us. And what did Oscar Gonzalez do so well last year? He crushed lefties against lefties. We don't have that solidified power bat that can hit lefties. Naylor doesn't hit lefties well. Josh Bell hasn't hit lefties well all year. Only guy that can hit lefties well is Jose.
Yeah.
And you can't have one guy that can hit lefties well and the rest of your lineup can't.
No, wait. I thought Naylor's been one of the best lefty on lefties this year.
I mean, he's starting to heat up, but throughout his career, he's been abysmal against lefties. He's been atrocious against lefties.
No, he's definitely starting to hit his prime. That's for sure.
He is, and like I said, we have a good young core group of guys. You got Quan in left. You got Jose at third.
Jimenez was an all-star last year.
Yeah, Andres Jimenez was an all-star. And players are gonna have bad years. Right. And I just think that this is one of those years, where a bunch of our guys are just unfortunately having bad years, and we're still 51-51.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, like I said, we're still in the playoff hunt.
We're still stealing bases.
That's good. We're still playing, the Guardians small ball type of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen glimpses of us being great, like that Astro series.
Yes.
Will Brennan hit that walk-off.
Yes.
If we could play like that all year, we would be a problem again. But it's just that one series, we score 40 runs in, 4 games. The next series, we score 2 in 4 games. And it's you can't be inconsistent to win a World Series. But,
no.
Jam, I know you said before the show you want to talk about the trade deadline. Is there any, trades around the league that stick out to you?
Well, staying on the Guardians real quick, we traded Ahmed Rosario for Noah Syndergaard. So,
I just want to touch on that really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We traded away our starting shortstop for a pitcher who is having a down year when we don't have a solidified backup shortstop.
Brian Rocchio.
Brian Rocchio, but he's
Tyler Freeman plays the whole infield, man.
I know. No, here's what I'm saying. I get that, but I'm saying we don't have a solidified shortstop because we've been moving them all over the place. What I'm saying is Ahmed was our everyday shortstop, and now you got rid of him, and now we don't have an everyday shortstop. Unless we're planning on moving Andres Jimenez over to short because he played short for the World Baseball Classic.
Right.
But why would you move a guy who just won a Gold Glove at second base?
Right.
I told my friends, I said, Gabriel Arias and Tyler Freeman are gonna get the chance to compete for the everyday starting spot, and it'll probably be Tyler Freeman that comes away with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd probably like Tyler Freeman to have that.
Because Gabriel Arias couldn't hit a beach ball if he threw it at him right now. He couldn't.
Yeah, he's been struggling.
He has been. Don't get me wrong, he's a great defender. But when you're hitting 180, can't have that.
Yeah.
Tyler Freeman's hitting just over 300. So, I take that and limited at bats than the guy that's hitting 180 and 140 plate appearances.
Right.
But it's been interesting to see how Tito, configures the lineup now with our 2-hole hitter gone. It'll be interesting to see if, maybe if Andreas moves up to 2, or he probably will. But I just don't see why we didn't try and get an outfield bat in return.
Yeah, I heard about the Dodger rumors probably, I want to say a day or before, is Jeff Passan or Bob Nightingale reported it on Twitter. But I was looking at the Dodgers roster, and I was really thinking we were going to make a run for Jason Hayward. He's had a resurgence year. His OPS plus is in the 130s right now.
You see, I wouldn't. You see, I would have liked that. Just rent him out for the
And
end
he's
of the year.
And he's a good lefty on lefty bat. I know he's a lefty, but he's good hitting lefties.
He is, but we need a righty though that can. We need a veteran right-handed bat that can hit lefties.
Well, true. The only veteran right-handed bat that the Dodgers had, which they definitely would not have given up, was J.D. Martinez. Not a chance.
Yeah, because that dude is.
He's like literally behind Mookie Betts. He's carrying the offense over there.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if the Guardians make it, because the deadline's when, the 31st. Right?
Yes, August 31st. Correct.
So you got
a couple of days left.
Yeah. But.
I like the Syndergaard trade though.
I do too.
I think we'll fix them up. The Guardians and the Rays, they've always been like the two best teams at making whatever pitcher into a at least solid pitcher,
Yeah.
I mean, especially us, the Guardians. We bring in some dudes sometimes you think their arm is dead. And then next thing you know, they'll make a 91-mile-an-hour fastball look like money.
I mean, a perfect example of that.
Syndergaard's kind of packed.
I mean, looking at Syndergaard's stats, I mean, he's this year his ERA is, I mean, yeah, it's a 7. But
his ERA is a 7?
Yes.
It's a 7.
Starts.
Yeah. Yikes.
But at the same time, we just need that veteran. We need that veteran that can come in and just battle. And I think he's thrown 55 innings and 12 starts. I mean, yeah, he's been dealing with injuries this year, but like Jamo said, I mean, we've had some pitchers before, that have come in and, been able to eat up innings for us with bad ERAs.
It's not even his command too, because I'm looking at the stats. He's got 38 strikeouts and 55 some innings. He started to strike out less people over his career. We know that. But he only has 9 walks. But he's given up 12 home runs. And 10 of those home runs, at least 2 people were on base. So you can kind of see where the numbers kind of like inflate, because he's not walking a bunch of guys. It's not like he's like Amir Garrett, who we also signed the other day, which I like. It's a bullpen arm. He's not just walking people, but he's just giving up the long ball, which tells
me he's missing over the heart of the plate, and hitters are making him pay for it.
Or maybe he didn't have a good relationship with Will Smith, the catcher.
He could very well, yeah. But
change of scenery, it could be a lot of things.
An ERA of 7 is telling.
Oh no, yeah, it is.
I mean, that's the big reason why I don't like just straight up like trading straight up Ahmed for Noah Syndergaard, because
I would have
right now, like, if you're gonna make that trade, at least get like a hitter in return, because then at least you're getting a guy that can take Ahmed's spot if you need him to. Now it's just like you're getting rid of one of your better hitters at the end of the season for a struggling 30-year-old pitcher that has a 7 ERA.
And Ahmed was batting a 385 with runners in scoring position, of course.
Yeah.
385.
I mean, that was a horrible trade.
Here's the thing. Only time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell. But if Syndergaard can come in and just give us decent starts, I'm not saying he's got to be a Cy Young.
2016 Noah Syndergaard. Yeah, no one's expecting.
If he can come in and give us around a 3 ERA, if he can give us a 3 ERA, I'd be happy with that. I'm not saying he has to win all the starts, but if he can have a 3 ERA, I'd be okay with that. But
even if we use him in long relief.
Yeah. I just don't see how the Guardians think that this trade's even.
Well, that's what I'm asking. A trade like this, how serious are the Guardians about making the postseason? Trades like this aren't, for the situation they're in currently, this is not a good trade.
Agreed.
You're on the verge.
100%.
You're on the verge of winning the division of the worst division of baseball history ever. You're only a couple games out. How does this help you? And to say it's going to be time will telling in the long term, you only got 3 months of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. It just doesn't make sense. I just think that the Guardians lost this trade. But let's move on from the Guardians right now. Let's talk about some, wild card races in baseball right now. We got obviously, Twins are leading our division. Twins are winning our division. Orioles are looking good right now. Jackson, who do you think is a sleeper team that could maybe grab that wild card spot at the end of the year?
For the American League?
For both leagues.
Well,
just both.
I'm feeling the American League personally. I'd like to see it be the Yankees, but this is where it gets really hard when your fanship gets in the way of your, what's right and wrong. And it really hurts. Like, I'm having a hard time getting it out. I don't feel the Yankees are playoff caliber. And let someone else get it if we're not going to really. I'm going to have to say Tampa Bay, Houston, and Toronto. And right now, no particular order.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll probably hang out to be Tampa Bay on top. But I don't know.
I just think that JMO, what about you? What do you think are some wildcard teams that might be able to sneak in at the end of the season?
I'm gonna start off with the AL because it's less of a cluster over there. I'm looking at it here, and man, it's really hard for me to not include Houston because they've been injury riddled this year, yet they're still 13 games above 500.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still hanging around. They're still only a couple of games behind Texas. It could end up being Texas in the wild card, and they've had the first place since April 26th, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I could see Houston. I kind of agree with Jackson. I don't see the Yankees making it unless Aaron Judge comes back and quite literally turns into Mickey Mantle for the last part of the season and stays healthy. That is the only.
The whole team is going to have to play.
Yeah.
And
they're going to have to look like a different.
Oh, yeah, no. Everyone around him is going to have to pick it up as well. Even the pitching, the Clark Schmidts, the Domingo Hermans, they're going to have to pick it up. But I don't see the Yankees getting in, which will be weird to see playoff baseball without that. But Boston is a sneaky team, though. I feel like no one's talking about Boston right now. No one has said a word about Boston. Everyone doubted them coming into this year. They were all predicting them to finish in last. And here they are, 1.5 games behind the Blue Jays, who people had winning the division. And I don't know, man. I want to say like Boston and Toronto, but then that means either Houston or Tampa Bay got to get bounced. And I just can't see that. So I'll roll with Toronto.
Right.
Actually, no, Toronto's going to choke. I'll go with Houston, and I'll go with the Red Sox.
I like that. I'm looking at some standings here, and I'm just looking. Go ahead.
No, really, you're picking the Red Sox.
They've been underdogs this year, man. They might even buy at the deadline, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Better than
you think
I'd say Boston's better than Toronto deep down?
Deep down, I'd say Boston is better than New York. Without Judge, But with a healthy Judge, that puts them above Boston, I think. I also think Boston's starting pitching is more well-rounded compared to the Yankees have just like a couple of stars and then they have like filler starting pitchers. That's just my opinion, though.
Looking at records, looking at teams in the wild card race that are looking at the records against teams that are 500. The fact that you got Houston's in there, and the record against teams that are above 500 is actually 30-34. So, wow. I mean, they're not great against teams that are over 500. But like you said, they've been dealing with injuries all year. So, I mean, once they get everybody back, they'll be fine. I think Houston and Tampa Bay both make the. I think those are the two like.
Tampa Bay's been slipping though.
They have been, but I still think those two are the locks in the American League for the wild card.
I'm looking at the National League. It's such a tough pick.
The National League, I think Cincinnati gets in.
I don't even know, man.
I think Arizona slips in.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Well, either Phillies or Giants aren't getting in then. At least for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cincinnati, I think Arizona gets hot again, and I think I think San Francisco fades towards the end. But
yeah, I can see that, honestly. They've been sticking around though. Like that's another surprise team. Who knows? Maybe we could get the most surprising World Series ever. We could have a Giants Red Sox World Series.
We could. That'd be crazy.
That would be nuts. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the Marlins are gonna get in. I was huge on the Marlins.
I was too. Like midway through the season.
I was loving them, but the injuries only stacked up. And then like 2 weeks ago, they just randomly sent Yuri Perez down to AAA because they wanted to manage his pitches or manage his innings better. But my thing is like, you're a franchise that has made the playoffs 3 times ever. You get your best starting pitching prospect since Jose Fernandez, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And you're making a playoff push. Hell, at that time they were only 4 games behind the Braves. You're making a first place push at that time, and then you send your best prospect down. That just doesn't make sense. I don't see them getting in. I don't see the Cubs getting in either. I kind of had them as a sneaky wild card team in the beginning of the year, but I've only seen more rumors every day from more verified sources that Bellinger, Stroman, they are on the trade block. Swanson is not, though. The Phillies I don't see getting in. Their bullpen sucks. And I think the Guardians watching the Guardians games, I think that's a struggle. But then I watch Phillies games, and like the amount of games I've seen them blow this year on just Matt Strom's arm alone, ridiculous. It's crazy. But
with how bad the Guardians bullpen has been recently, they still have the second best bullpen ERA. So we know that our bullpen under Tito has always been one of the best. So I'm not worried. We'll get it figured out. It's just I think the Amir Garrett signing was good because we don't have that lefty out of the bullpen that we can go to this year. Henches hasn't been good. Heron hasn't been good. So if Amir Garrett can at least be just halfway decent for us, if we ever call him up out of the pen, we'll be fine because then we can go to that inning, where teams throw out 3 lefties against us. We can go to Amir Garrett and we can trust him to get out 3 lefties. But
he's got to just keep his walks down.
Yeah.
But he's good. I've always liked him. Fierce. Yeah. He's a warrior. But going back to the National League wild card, Pirates, they're done. Magical run over. Cardinals, they're done. Let the playoff streak without Yachty start now. I'm calling it. They will not make it for a couple of years probably. The Mets, they're cooked. All right. Tommy Pham is literally one of their hottest hitters. They're done. That's all I'll say. The Padres.
Real quick, while we're on the Padres, they have a plus 51 run differential and they're under 500.
Okay, that's actually That
And
shouldn't even be possible. Like
and
51.
Miami has a negative 19
Right.
run differential, and they're almost 10 games over 500.
I can believe Miami having a negative run differential. They got a lot of low scoring wins this year, but I don't see the Padres are only 6.5 back, and apparently they're going to buy at the deadline. So me going off them buying at the deadline, getting a good arm, maybe another bet, maybe they get the last wild card spot. Why not?
I mean,
I'll say it. I'll stay with the Padres. I mean, the Mets. I might as well pick one of the highest payroll teams and make it. And hell, I can't just not pick both of them. Cubs, no.
I mean, what else is there to buy for the Padres though? Like they have Tatis, they have Grisham in center, they have Machado. Like
they're set, bro. I don't. What am I saying, bro?
Who else are you gonna spend money on? Who else are you gonna spend money on?
Dude, what's his name is gonna find a way to spend money. Trust me. Trust. That's all they do in San Diego. They shed money. Hell, they're paying Matt Carpenter like $7 million this year.
Forgot he's on their team.
Exactly. Like they just designated Rube Dodor and Nelson Cruz for assignment. Like Arizona, they're gonna get in. Philly's not gonna get in. San Francisco's not gonna get in. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Arizona and Cincy, with Cincy getting the top spot, and then the Padres somehow by some miracle get the last spot with like 87 wins.
Yeah.
I could see that. But Fernando, Machado, and Juan Soto are literally going to have to actually break records with their hitting in the second.
We're gonna need MVP Machado, MVP Soto, and Tatis
47 homer Tatis.
Yeah.
And Cy Young Snellzilla and Yu Darvish.
Well, dude, Blake Snell might get traded.
Well, no, he doesn't want to get traded. Like he really he has been telling that's why they want to buy. Like that's why they're saying they're gonna buy. Because they're only 6.5 back. They're one good week back of baseball. Just think about it.
Yeah.
One good week.
Yeah. But let's get off baseball, because if we talk any more about the Guardians and how bad we are, I think my head might explode.
Honestly.
I want to touch on some soccer, because Jam, I know you've been getting into soccer more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Women's World Cup's going on right now. USA, they're 1-1 so far in the first two group stage matches.
They tied last night, right?
They tied last night. Should have won, but I still think we're the best team in soccer. It's just it's concerning to me that we don't we have 5 subs and we only use 1 in 97 minutes. Like to win a World Cup, you need a good bench.
Yeah,
you need a deep bench. To win any championship, yeah. And if you're telling me that we don't have players off the bench that can make an impact, our starting 11 is going to be tired by the time we get to the knockout stages, if we even make it.
I'm saying, they got to rest along the way. I would imagine we have at least out of the 6 on the bench, at least 2 to 3 that we can be all right, we can keep you in for even a long period of time in the game if we wanted to,
Yeah. It's just even if you go back and look at the United States men's team when they made the World Cup, right? You had guys like Brendan Aronson who could come off the bench. You had guys like what's his name? Kellen Acosta, Jordan Morris, guys like that could make an impact. You're telling me that we didn't have a single girl on our bench last night that could have made an impact against the Netherlands?
That's what I'm saying. Right, you're telling me the best team, the best professional soccer team in the U.S., the women's national team, doesn't have at least 50% of a formidable bench that could start on any other country's team.
Okay, going back to starting any other country's team, the Philippines, their entire team was born in the United States.
That's insane.
To Filipino,
what?
To Filipino parents.
Everyone?
Yes.
Everyone.
Their entire team was born in the United States, and they qualified for the World Cup. So that's basically our C team. And you're telling me we don't have a player on our bench which is our B team, that can make an impact against Netherlands?
Yeah, no, when you bring that up, then that makes it even look worse. Like, what's the whole team? How have I not heard of this?
Yeah, and I still think we're the best. I still think we're the best team in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that this is like a shot in the butt. Like, hey, like we're not invincible anymore. Like we can be
Right.
beat. Like we're not.
Right, they have only gotten older. I mean,
Yeah, and I mean, yes, we did lose. We did lose one of our best players. You know, Mallory Pugh tore ACL like 2 months for the World Cup. Devastating.
that sucks.
But it's just we have players on the bench that have made impacts for foreign World Cups, and they're just sitting there on the bench not playing. I just don't understand how you think that, you know, the same 11 can get the same results game after game when they're not getting subs. And like you said, especially when they're older, like Alex Morgan, she's 34. She can't be playing 90 plus minutes every single game, and you expecting her to go out there and score you 14 goals in a World Cup.
Right. Like if I, as a coach, knew that my best player on the team was getting faster with age, I would try to play her less so she could get the best out of her abilities in that like time. Like if she got like, because like how much time is she playing a game right now? Because I only watched the Vietnam game.
So she's played every single minute of both games.
Okay, well that's that. Oh. Well, let's say it's 90, right? If she's playing like even just 75, I feel like you would still get like, you know, just as much out of her than you just playing her to full damn 90 back to back to back. Like sooner or later, the horse is going to just stop, you know?
Yeah.
Like sooner or later, the train is going to run out of coal, you know? Like, I mean.
And it's not that. It's just like we're not even. It's like we're acting like she's not there. Like we're not playing her the ball much. She's only getting the ball in certain situations. It's like she's your leading goal scorer for a reason.
Right.
Give her the ball and let her cook. Like play her the ball, facilitate through her, and she's gonna score you. Like she's gonna score you goals. She's still good enough to score goals. There's a reason why she made her 4th World Cup team. And it's just if we're gonna make a run at this World Cup, it's got to be through Alex Morgan. We can't just have her out there playing 90 minutes. It's like Tony Snell in NBA when he played 28 minutes had zero stats. Alex Morgan has 1 assist in 2 games, and she's played 100 and played like almost 200 minutes.
That's insane. Because they've played what, 3 games or 2?
2, but both. You know,
but
stoppage time at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, like the stoppage times, you know, stuff like that. It's like I just don't, like you said, the train's gonna run out of coal at some point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, can't just keep doing that.
I mean, it'll be an interesting World Cup because if we barely make it out of our groups, teams are gonna be gunning for us because, you know, we barely made it out of our group.
Oh, I'm pretty sure teams have already taken a notice. Because in the game we won, we still, I was watching it, I was just like, Because we won what, 4-1? 3-1?
Against who?
Vietnam.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, we won 3. Like we won 3-0, but like watching the game, it just seemed like we were kind of taking it easy. Like you said, like they do think they're invincible, which it would be hard not to think you're invincible when you have won 2 of the hardest sports tournaments in a row. You know, I mean, it's hard to win the World Cup, either women's or men's. I mean, it's tough, especially back to back, you know, like, yeah, that's tough because it's over a 12-year period.
Yeah.
And if you're using the same team, sooner or later, you're going to start seeing it, you know, the same plays, you know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Right. And then, like every other sport, the rest of the world only gets better every day.
Yep. And, like, you're just telling me that we don't have – like, I was looking at our bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have players on our bench that can still make an impact. Like the fact that we didn't go to them in a game that was pretty much, if we won, we were through to the next round.
Be in, right?
It's like, why wouldn't you at least give them a chance, right?
Right.
Because now you have to beat Portugal to advance. If you lose,
right, and now they're going to come on with pressure.
Yeah.
Like
if you lose, there's no chance of advancing.
You're done.
If you tie, you have a chance, but you need Vietnam to beat the Netherlands.
Yeah, so it's a must-win, is what I'm hearing.
It's a must-win, which means we can't rest any of our starters, so they're going to have to go out there and play another full 90.
That's some terrible mismanagement right there. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's pretty bad. Like, because, like, last game, and that because it was like a double elimination. We won our first game, so we should have saw that and been like, okay, if we win today, we advance. But if we lose, we got to win. Well, all right, let's try and rotate some of these depth and bench players in so they can actually see the field, get some live game action, not practice, some like actual in-game action, see how it is, and get used to it. And then, like, if we lose, then the next game we'll play our starters, and whoever looked good off the bench, we'll sub them in. But now it's like, oh no, we're gonna have to play our starters the full game. But they've already played back-to-back full games. Like they're tired. They're gonna be tired out there. Like, but hopefully them not using Alex Morgan as much the first two games only means that game 3, she's just gonna have to turn it on and just
at this point, if I'm Alex Morgan, if I get the ball, I'm trying to beat players one-on-one, get shots when you can, because clearly they're not playing you the ball in the situations you want it. I mean, we've scored 4 goals, and it's been by 2 players.
Yeah, that's bad.
And you have your all-time leading goal scorer in the game against Vietnam.
And no goal.
In the game against Vietnam, she had 8 touches in the box.
It's not enough.
Your all-time leading goal scorer for your country should be getting more than 8 touches a game inside the other team's box.
At least triple that.
Yeah. But I want to move on from, the Women's World Cup. Hopefully we can, make it 3 in a row, be the first team.
When do they play? Is it Friday?
I believe so. Let me double check. Hopefully we can win, 3 in a row. We'd be the first ever male or female team to do it. No, they play August 1st, so next Tuesday.
Brazil never three-peated?
No, that's the thing. Pele has won 3 World Cups, but he didn't win 3 in a row.
Okay. So, no, I think I remember because he won 2 in a row, and then I think he lost, and then he won the next one. Yeah, I think that. So we're going for history, and I mean it'd be cool to be a part of history, for U.S. soccer. But I want to move on from, the Women's World Cup, and let's talk about quite possibly the biggest news in soccer right now. Lionel Messi in the MLS. Because, I mean, he's played 105 total minutes, has 3 goals and an assist in 105 minutes. He's tearing it up.
He is.
It's great to watch, too. I love it.
It is, and it's only – I mean, me and Brian were talking on the show. It's only going to grow soccer in America because we know how much the country of Argentina loves Lionel Messi.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it definitely became 100% obvious after them winning the World Cup. That's for sure.
And with Apple TV owning the rights to MLS, it's worldwide, which means people in Argentina can watch Messi play every single game.
Right.
And with how much they enjoy watching him play and him being their pride and joy, they're going to watch.
Right.
Which is only going to make MLS viewership better. It's only going to draw more attention to the MLS.
MLS is going to pass NHL in like a year.
I saw a crazy stat. The MLS is now more valuable with Messi than the Saudi League is with Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'd believe that, though, because, like, there's still other talent in the MLS, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, for the longest time, the MLS has been one of, like, the lowest, like, valued leagues in soccer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now
I also knew that too.
and now it's valued at over $1 billion because of Messi. It's crazy how much a 36-year-old player has changed the outlook of the MLS. Like he's been here for what, 4 games? Or no, not even. He's been here for 2 games, and he's changing the outlook of the MLS.
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah.
Let's put this into perspective. Inter Miami's in last place in the MLS.
I was about to say, yeah, he went to the worst team too.
They're in last place. They have a chance to win 2 trophies as a last place team. They're in the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup, and they're one of only 3 teams to win 2 games in the League's Cup. So they could win 2 trophies as the last place team in Major League Soccer.
Last one they won 4-0 too, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, they might mess around and go 12-0 and make the playoffs.
That would be crazy. That would be an insane run. I'm not gonna lie.
If they go unbeaten, they're more than likely going to squeak into the playoffs as like an 8 or a 7 seed. And we all know with Messi, you can make a run if you're whatever seed.
That is so true. They might just do it, man.
They might mess around and win an MLS Cup as a 9 seed
Oh
or an 8 seed or
my
whatever.
God, that would be, if that happens, then like, man, that would probably be the greatest season turnaround in professional sports history. It'd have to be.
I mean,
it would have to be. Like, last place, win every game.
Last place, win your final 12 games, make the playoffs, and then win the league championship
with 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be like an ESPN 30 for 30, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That would be a good one. I hope they do it. I've been watching too. I didn't watch his second game. I watched his first one, but the second game though, I just kept, every time I opened Instagram, I just kept seeing Messi highlights, and I was like, oh my God. And then I saw he scored 2 goals, and I was like, oh, and he had an assist, and it was just like, oh my God, he's just going off.
His second game was better than his first game.
I know. Like, and he started too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he only played, I don't know if you saw the clip, after he got subbed off in the 75th minute, like half the stand just left. They just got up and left.
That's crazy.
It's like, if you take him out, I mean, people are just going to leave because they're there to see Messi.
Right. No, yeah.
I just think it's good for the game of soccer that he came to America to join the MLS, because it's clear he won a World Cup at 36. He's still good enough to play in Europe.
Oh yeah, no, he could play in the Premier League if he wanted to. Let's be real.
So like, it's not like he's washed up and isn't good anymore.
Right.
Like, the dude just won what, in November, December, just won a World Cup.
Right, less than 9 months ago, like.
So, I mean, he hasn't had a birthday since then.
Right.
So it's not like he isn't good enough to play in Europe. The dude no injury. The dude's literally single-handedly just won Argentina World Cup. So he's good enough to play in Europe. But the fact that he chose the MLS over, these top European leagues, just shows you how much value the MLS has now. Like you said, there was other talent in the MLS before he got here. But it shows you that he values the MLS at a high level because, the greatest player of all time decided to join the MLS.
Right.
But, we're getting right underneath an hour mark. So, I mean, I think we're gonna end it there. But great show today, JMO. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to go back on baseball real quick and just say,
go ahead.
I just want to say, how about the Angels giving up their number 2 and 3 prospects for Lucas Giolito? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I like that because they've struggled with pitching ever since Mike Trout got into the big leagues.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Lucas Giolito, I mean, like a couple of years ago, the dude was top 3 in Cy Young.
He's good.
So
he's good.
I mean, they got one pitcher, but now they got to, get more. And if they can get more, they have a chance to make a run. So
I mean, yeah, they're
like
4 games over, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. But it'll be even more interesting to see free agency this year with Shohei.
Oh, it will be.
If we thought Aaron Judge was something and Carlos Correa last year, no. Shohei Ohtani is about to have every sports network, whether it's about baseball or not, talking about him this summer. I guarantee it. Or this winter. I guarantee it.
Agreed. He's going to sign a huge deal.
Big. I think he'll go 3 years, $300 million, and get like $100 million a year.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Be the first to make $100 million in a season.
I mean, could you imagine?
That would be insane. Like, the payroll would be insane. Like, a player's like a fourth of your team's payroll. That would be nuts.
I mean, with no salary cap in baseball, it's possible.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely is. Baseball is – I forgot. Their salary situation is quite fucking broken.
Yep. So, I mean, but like, we're right under an hour, so I think we're going to end it there, folks. Thanks for watching. JMO, great show today.
Great show with you as well, man.
Next week, we should have everybody back. We should have Chad back. So we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
Everyone take care.